Hello everyone and welcome to the Omega Metroid podcast. My name is Andy Spiteri, joined by Dakota Lasky. Dak, how you doing? Are you still riding the high of Metroid Dread being announced a couple weeks ago now? Seems like the entire internet is still ablaze talking about Metroid Dread.
Yeah, man, I'm high on life, dude. I'm very happy that we're getting a new Metroid game. It's still very surreal. It's exciting. It's awesome. I really can't believe it that Metroid Dread is coming out. You know, we did a whole expose on the development of it, and now I get to go on YouTube and just watch Sakamoto talk about it nonchalantly, like it's no big deal. You know, it's like someone finding the Holy Grail, and now they're just they casually have it on their shelf. This is huge, you know, and it's going to be cool that we're all going to be playing it very soon on our Switches. I can't wait to learn more about the game. I'm sure we're going to hear more as we get closer and closer to launch. I know they did one of those Dread reports on the official site. I'm sure we'll get another one of those. I'm sure we'll get some trailers, some commercials, some more gameplay down the line. So I'm excited for that, but we still have, so much more to go through already from what's already there. I've already poured through it a ton. I'm so happy that there's another Metroid game coming out. So I'm glad we are doing a Metroid podcast, and for the first time we actually have a new Metroid game to talk about.
I know, Metroid news, it feels like surreal to have actual Metroid news doing the Omega Metroid podcast. We should probably thank everybody. We had a great week. We had a great month for this show. Actually, personally, for my podcasts on both sides, Metroid and Zelda was this is far and away the best month we've ever had. So just wanted to extend some gratitude and some love to everybody that's been listening, that's been sharing, that's been tagging us and stuff. We love to see it. We love it. We love all that stuff. And thank you guys so much for supporting the show. And all you fellow Metroid fans out there, I feel like, our time is now. It's finally paid off, and we finally have this moment to bask in and to celebrate in. So it feels awesome. It's been quite a couple weeks here. So just wanted to share that with everybody and just, say thank you. Cause when we started this, who would have thought that it would have turned into what it's turned into? We were, the original plan was to do short little episodes, maybe every 2 weeks. And now it's totally changed into something else. And you love to see that when you have an idea and it just evolves and grows over time. And of course, none of that would be possible without everybody, checking it out and listening to the pod. So thank you, everybody. Awesome job. And we hope that we're brightening your day a little bit with our Metroid talk. So yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there to everyone.
Yeah, same. And I've been actually looking at a couple of the reviews we've gotten on different platforms, on Apple Podcasts, for example. And there's just one poor soul out there that just absolutely hates me for how much I talked about Other M in the early episodes. So I'm so happy that now I can talk about Metroid Dread. We can talk about Metroid Prime 4 in the near future as well. It's all good. I'm so excited to have so many people to talk about Metroid with. It's great, right? We have people in the Discord server, on our Twitter, talking to us about Metroid. We're sharing stuff we find on Twitter and people engage with that. That's really awesome. It's great to see all the fan art that people are posting on Twitter and in Discord and trying to share when the special edition gets in stock somewhere and looking poring over the trailers frame by frame, looking at little details that Mercury's team have put in. It's really awesome, and I've honestly never seen the Metroid, I guess the Metroid community really all engaged all at once and hyped over something. And obviously it makes sense that they are, but it is just really cool to see. And I'm very excited for it. And, October can't come soon enough, but honestly, I think it's going to be here before we know it. And we're going to be enjoying this game and playing it. So, yeah, it's really awesome. Definitely agree with everything you said.
Yeah. And on the Wii U eShop, Metroid Fusion, Metroid Zero Mission are selling like hotcakes. Samus Returns is suddenly back in style for the 3DS, so you love to see it. You know what? I've actually, I don't even think I've told you this, Dak. I'm going to be revisiting Metroid Fusion, and I'm actually going to write my second ever Metroid guide. And when it's done, I'll share it out, and we'll do something cool with that. But yeah, it's the Metroid hype is definitely real. But we have got we have got a lot of footage to get into today. Of course, last week we did a watch along with the first half of the Nintendo Treehouse presentation that focused on the gameplay of Metroid Dread. That was about 20 minutes, 22 minutes and change of footage, and of course we were pausing and kind of doing commentary. And this week we're going to do the exact same thing, but with part 2. So there's going to be a lot to talk about, a lot to unpack. We're going to be pausing just to like really dive in deep on some details. We encourage you guys, if you want to follow along with us, if you are at home and you're able and you have your computer open, pull this up and press play when we do here. We'll kind of watch along together. If you're in your car or you're in somewhere and you just want to listen to this, no big deal. We'll break it down and walk you through what exactly is going on. But I'm ready to watch some more Metroid Dread footage here, Dak. So maybe we should just get going and start it up and press play.
Yep, right off of the Nintendo YouTube. So we're just gonna press play on that bad boy, the Metroid Dread Nintendo Treehouse Live E3 2021 Part 2. It's about 24 to 59 minutes long, 24 minutes and 59 seconds long. So let's hit play on this bad boy. Let's do it.
All right, so we are playing. We got that snap. You gotta love the Switch snap.
I love that, by the way, this treehouse animation they have, and it's unfortunate they didn't show off a DK game. Despite having that awesome animation that I know is for the treehouse, but also it would have worked for a DK.
Look at it! Look at that awesome backdrop of Samus behind the treehouse guys here. Just like looks so good. I mean, I'm sure that's an LED screen, but it's just so cool to see. Our girl just like taking center stage. You love to see it.
Yeah, Nintendo does these displays really well, and you'll see these displays like on the E3 show floor when that's in person, and like other stuff like when they had the big like Smash mural, they brought them to Smash tournaments. Really cool. Love that kind of art. And the box art for this game awesome. Like, look, also by the way,
look at this
we immediately
room.
get into this. So we're in this area still from the previous video, and we're still seeing these awesome details in the background: animals flying and creatures flying about, water falling. It looks great.
Let's pause right here for a second, actually. So let's pause.
Already
we're
a
minute
lot.
in.
Yeah.
So lots to unpack. So when we left off last time, I think we had just left an Emmy zone, and Samus was doing her thing in there and trying not to get eaten by the Emmys. So now we see that gorgeous room with all the water in the background here. Even in this room that we're paused in, you can see like the beams of light kind of hitting the floor, just like or the wall. It just looks so incredibly detailed. We've got a new object that you would call it. The what do they call it? The spider wall? Is that what they said?
The spider wall, yeah. I think they're called the spider wall.
So very similar in function to Metroid
wall.
Fusion in Metroid Zero Mission, where you have like the walls that you can climb up.
The monkey bars.
Yeah, the monkey bars. Yeah. In the bottom corner here, it looks like it almost looks like the traditional like boss door in 2D Metroid games, where like you have the eyeball that shoots stuff at you and you have to blast it. I don't know if this is that though, because it's got an enclosed.
Well, that's the
face.
thing is I think it's not the exact same design, but I think that's what Mercury Steam is going for here with a lot of these enemies, where they don't look like the previous design. They have some tweaks, but they still kind of like fulfill the same functionality. Like that's essentially a Ghidorah. It doesn't have like an open eye to it, but it's it's an eye boss before like the boss you're actually going to fight. So it's essentially a Ghidorah. But I like how they've updated it for Metroid Dread, where now it lunges out at you, so you can use like the dash counter or the dash melee and the melee counter and whatnot to try and attack it that way, or you can take it out the normal way. And I also think I like how it has a realistic
grotesque
look, I guess, and grotesque, but also it looks more natural and real. Like that looks like, instead of it being a big giant eyeball, which looks a little more not cartoony, but doesn't look as realistic. I think this is a nice update for an enemy that's essentially the same function.
Yeah, no kidding. All right, let's keep going here and let's see what Samus is gonna get up to.
Let's let her rip. So yeah, she is able to walk like all the way. She can monkey bar and climb these walls and slide down too. I like that animation.
Very cool. And I like how fast you're sliding down too. Mm-hmm. It's such a minor thing, but like if you've ever played some games before, in like Ocarina of Time, for example, one of my favorite games ever, but like when you go down a ladder, it takes you forever to go, and I'm like, God, I wish you could just slide. Oh, that's so cool.
There's the eye.
There's the eye there too. And the eye came out.
Yeah, so the Ghidorah lunged at you and the eye opened. So it is a Ghidorah. But I also love how as Samus gets closer, it like starts to twitch more, and like the animations, the little small animations that Mercury Steam has in this game are great.
So let's talking about animation here. We're getting kind of a cinematic look at Samus' suit, and there is a giant Chozo statue here. It looks absolutely spectacular. God, the design of Samus, her visor, everything here is just absolutely hitting, and we have what looks to be our first boss battle here.
Yeah, so I'm gonna let this cutscene play until it finishes, but then I'll pause it.
Yeah.
And I'm pausing it right now at 2:10. So this is our first boss battle. Corpius is the name of this boss, apparently. And yeah, there's so much to unpack in just the room alone. You have like this sandy kind of room with either like a red fog or mist hanging, or like blood or something on the floor. It looks like blood. I'm pretty sure it's some kind of mist or fog, or maybe another kind of red sand. You have like that Chozo statue that's like leaning. It's like clearly not set correctly. I'm some kind of Chozo warrior with a cape or cloak. Obviously, this big monster that is using what we later get the Phantom Cloak, but which I'm wondering maybe if that's like what that Chozo warrior has, right? Maybe that's like a Phantom Cloak it has. But anyway, this whole room, I love the design, like the rib cages in the sand, this like grotesque like monster coming out at Samus, and again, unlike, another end, but Samus comes in, she's ready to fight, and she goes in and like has this awesome animation avoiding the monster and getting right into the fight. It looks great. Yeah, love this cutscene going into this first boss battle.
And I want to point out something that I think that you pointed out on Twitter, Dak, which was like, this is how you do cinematics like really, really well. Like this looks really cool. And like there's this nice shot of like all of a sudden you're in the visor and you see from Samus's point of view, but then you're immediately back out, and it just like it looks really fluid and it looks really natural, which is maybe something that Other M didn't always achieve. So I really like the way that they did that, and then the way that it transitions like seamlessly. The camera kind of pans around and you transition seamlessly into the boss battle, and you have control of Samus again. Was really cool. Also worth noting here, you have 25 missiles. So I'm presuming that this is somewhat early in the game. So maybe you start off with more than your average 5. Actually, I think we started off with 10 missiles from last gameplay. So worth noting. I always like starting off with a little bit more missiles.
Yeah, definitely. Give the players some more options, and I would like I personally I use way too many missiles when I play these games, so it's nice to have them early. Yeah, I definitely agree with everything, and just look at this shot. I'm ready to play this. This looks so good. The animations look clean, and yeah, you get this awesome like in-engine, like in-game cinematic, so it makes it look so like it's a complete like seamless transition rather than like jumping to a pre-rendered cutscene. So. I'm going to let it continue to play here, and we get into the boss battle itself. We actually get the full boss battle here, like, for this whole demo. So we actually get to see, like, an entire boss battle play out here, which I think is pretty cool.
Oh, so there you go. And I'm sorry, what is this boss's name again?
Apparently his name is Corpius.
Corpius, that was it. I was about to say Carrion, and I don't think that's right. So it looks like Corpius is vulnerable right on his head, right in the kisser. So this guy's got, like, a scorpion tail that looks like it's doing some pretty good damage. And
his design is so cool.
He's got like it's almost like a snake, but like with arms and a scorpion tail. He's also got the sludge. He's spitting out sludge, which was a classic staple of Metroid.
Yeah, right in the face, all in those like grotesque, like visceral looking eyes. Is like yoked in the front, but has no leg day. Didn't go to the gym.
Samus just got bodied by some sludge. It looks like you can shoot the sludge too to get missiles and other pickups. So Corpius is not happy. Phase 2. What is it? Oh my goodness. So this is kind of cool because this guy is turning invisible, and it makes you wonder if this is the invisible enemy that we saw previously in that room that we were talking about last week.
100%. That's the nice little foreshadowing we get earlier, where we see Corpius kind of lingering about, and then we finally get to take him on. And I love this kind of change up because you already had a little bit of diversity in the flow of the fight earlier, where you're taking on the sludge bombs and like the tail fight. Now you mix in, all right, now I can't really see him that well, and I have this huge long range disjointed attack going after me with like this little light. Really solid early game Metroid boss fight, I think.
Yeah, and classic Metroid there is the tail takes more damage. It turns from yellow to red, and now it's blinking and going nuts. So what's Corpius up to now?
Oh
no!
See, what's with enemies attacking with their butts in this game? So many of them love to do this, but again, Mercury Steam, like the mid battle transitions, like it just looks so awesome and
Man.
cinematic. Looks really cool.
So yeah, Corpius is just shaking its butt at Samus, but of course our girl just used her new slide to slide right under and melee attack Corpius right in the face, missiles to the face, grabbing the tail. Samus is going everywhere. God, this is a fight. This is good. This is great stuff.
We're running that back. We're going back.
Okay, let's do it
to
one
the
more
beginning because that was so awesome. I love this fight. I'm going back to 350 here. So like, just there's so many details. Mercury Steam has such a great taste. Like they make Samus look so like badass and
that was
strong. Like just like she goes into she doesn't back up. She's ready to go. Like hasn't flinched at all. Just like ready to go. Like I'm good. Hasn't moved back despite Corpius going, completely invisible there. And then I love this slide, and you can even notice when she goes in, she uses her boosters or thrusters to like get right into his face, and then like takes the tail swing like right to the midsection, like takes a huge swing and just like tanks it, and then starts firing in his face. It's so sick. Oh, look at that!
Samus
Jump
with the
in.
slide grabs the face, shoots the missile right in the face. 1, 2, 3, 4. Grabs the tail. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Love that. And then
9
right
missiles
back in
right
the
to the face. Absolutely. Oh, that was great. That was great.
So good. Like when Sakamoto said that Mercury Steam has like good taste, like he was not wrong.
Yeah.
Like they nailed this. Like they make this fight seem so epic. This is just a early game boss. This is an epic fight.
Yeah, that looked vicious. So Corpius just he is throwing sludge on the floor, poison on the floor, and Samus is hanging on to one of the ledges, and the tail just like speared Samus. It looked vicious.
Yeah, and I also love
this is a great fight.
I also love how they have obviously multiple fights like most Metroid bosses do, but it's not just like, okay, the previous pattern but faster. Like now he has a completely different, now he's putting down this gas. You have like this wall cling, he's about closer again, and he's mixing up the invisibility. Like I love this.
Now he's invisible again. So lots going on in this fight.
I want that.
This is a heck of a fight, and this is one of the early fights. So I've been playing Metroid Fusion, and I think the bosses in that game are really good, but you get to Arachnus in the first couple minutes of the game, and like that is not a boss fight the same caliber as this, and we're about to see another awesome melee move here.
Oh, the twist around the neck! I don't even remember that the first. Like I love that.
That's like some Legolas Lord of the Rings stuff right there. That's great. I love the missiles to the face, like just boom, 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 boom.
Like they're flexing with this animation, and again, like the transition between like these cinematic shots and the gameplay just looks so satisfying.
And it looks like Corpius might finally. Oh my god! So Corpius is down for the count. Samus is charging up her arm cannon here. She looks absolutely menacing. What is she gonna do? Oh my! Oh god! Oh my god! Samus just shoots him right in the face, jumps right through the tail. Corpius is down. Samus stands tall.
Superhero landing. And then I'll take that, sir. I'll take that. I'll take that cube hiding in your tail. Yeah, that was awesome.
All right,
and she gets the Phantom Cloak from this.
Kind of power up here.
Yeah, so we'll pause here real quick. So 646, she gets the Phantom Cloak, which is obviously
doesn't that sound like a Zelda item to you, like the Phantom Cloak?
Well, it sounds like a Chozo thing. I guess, but it does sound Zelda-y, but it does sound
I love it. It's great.
Yeah, it works for me for sure. It has that like when you're gonna go this kind of more mystical-y naming route, like the Chozo stuff definitely works. Obviously, this is an Aeon ability, but yeah, I like the name Phantom Cloak. It sounds cool. Zelda Phantom Hourglass, so it makes sense. But active camo, that's what I'm gonna call it.
Wow, what a boss battle that was! Just
fantastic.
I think I mentioned this in I can't remember when, but sometime in one of our shows, I mentioned that I love boss battles that feel like a fight. Like there are boss battles. Sometimes it's almost like too pretty, and it's like you have to do something that's like a puzzle almost rather than like a fight. So I love that, like and this is true of Samus Returns as well, where like Samus is just like punching people in the face and like blasting missiles close up. It adds such
they're scrapping.
Yeah, it just adds such an authenticity to what is going on. I feel like that you miss sometimes in these, in other games.
Absolutely. Like this is I can't gush enough about this boss fight. And again, like you mentioned in like Metroid Fusion, I love the boss battles in that game and I like the quantity of them too. But you're right, you go to like Arachnus first and he's like and like it's a joke. That boss battle, that I assume is like the first boss battle of the game, right? Or if not maybe the second or third, but it's probably like the first one. And that looked like an epic boss battle that put both of those characters over, right? Like Samus looked really good, like all these awesome sick moves, the sick finish, but even Corpius, who's clearly an early game boss, looked like a legitimate threat and didn't just seem like some kind of dopey like mid boss or sub boss that you kind of, get through, get the ability to move on. That was a cool, awesome fight that had multiple phases. It was creative. It had a nice like mix up and diversity in its like gameplay and pattern flows, and it makes you the player feel, it looks like, I mean, just from watching it, I can't wait to play it, but I'm assuming it's going to make you feel like you're such an awesome space, like the best bounty hunter in the galaxy. You're just like taking on these aliens, no flinching, like no hesitation whatsoever. That's the Samus we know and love, and I love that Mercury Steam like is nailing that and is getting the exact kind of like is getting these big moments that Samus is really good at. So I love this.
Yeah,
and Phantom Cloak. Yeah,
it looks so awesome, and it makes me think of like if this guy, like you said, it's probably like one of the first bosses in the game, right? If this guy looks like such a badass, like what do we think like the Dark Chozo or like the final boss or whatever, that the guy that's presumably going to be built up during the game kind of as a threat, like that I feel like is just going to be one heck of a fight.
Absolutely.
So really excited.
And if I'm Retro Studios, I'm looking at this and I'm like, sheesh, like we gotta step it up. If they have it, I'm sure they are thinking the same kind of way too with their kind of cutscenes. But like I'm sure they look at this and like, oh, we gotta be doing some of this kind of stuff too if they aren't already. And I love this. I love seeing Samus just throw hands. Like I love it. Just getting in creatures' faces and taking them on. Let's hit play again on this. We're at 6:46. Let's hit play. Samus just took out Corpius, just got the Phantom Cloak, and we're gonna see what she does with it.
All right. Wow, we got a lot of footage to get through here. You gotta love it.
We do, but I mean that we got the they left us on a cliffhanger on the previous video, So it's
so
only right.
Yep. Aeon is certainly back, which of course makes sense from both a gameplay perspective and a story perspective, kind of continuing where we left off with Samus Returns. I love the look of this. I think I mentioned it last week too, when like Samus gets like her power ups and it shows you kind of what her arm cannon's at, what her suit's at, etc., etc. The shot of Samus just looks really cool.
And the
X-ray
tooltip,
schematic looking version.
Yeah, I love that. Like, I mean, it's that's like a classic Metroid thing too, but like they do really like a good job with it. But I love the tooltip thing. It's like it's just I don't know. It's something I've never seen in Metroid before, and it looks awesome.
There we go. So the Phantom Cloak is literally making us invisible, and it is allowing Samus to pass through. Looks like some kind of area that was motion censored. So of course, using the Phantom Cloak is going to use your Aeon, but that's a pretty cool trade-off, I think.
Yeah, so certain doors are motion censored, so you'll have to use the Phantom Cloak to go by. Aside from the fact that obviously there are a ton of gameplay and like battle implications for using it, but there are going to be certain doors you're going to have to use. See, like this door too also has a Phantom Cloak necessity there, so you got to use that to pass by.
We forgot to shout out our buddy, the giant enemy crab, who also made his triumphant reappearance down there.
Yes, God, I love that guy.
That moving melee counter just looks so good.
Oh, let's pause real
shot.
quick
Wow,
here.
Look at this.
Yeah. 8:30, we see this absolutely beautiful shot of this huge, like, volcanic landscape as Samus passes through this bridge. This is phenomenal. I love this. This is a great
shot. Very, very Megmore Caverns Norfair vibes here, with a big, not a spire, but some kind of contraption that is shooting down some big, heavy flames in the center of the screen here. And of course, this is a bridge, but I don't know if it's a glass bridge, because that if you see a glass bridge, you're coming back to bomb that baby.
Oh, that's true. Oh, man. Well, I mean, just looking at the top of that tube or whatever it is, that looks walkable, That
Yeah.
looks like something you can get up on, but we'll see. But I'm looking at this and I'm like, oh, this is quintessential Metroid. You got Samus, you got a tube, and you got some lava. Like this, this is great. So let's move on from here at 8:30 and hit play again as Samus runs through this just beautiful environment. And again, I mean, Mercury Steam is just flexing with some of these environments here.
God, I know that I just finished saying it, but God, I love the physicality of some of the fights and like the melee counters. It makes it feel like so legitimate to me.
Absolutely, yeah. I love how she just runs in, swinging her arm cannon, kicking things. Like it's very satisfying looking. Looks like a lot of fun. Oh, there
So
it is again.
it's faint, but you can hear the music in the background too, and the music also sounds very kind of creepy but mechanic-y. Very Metroid. So it sounds good.
Yeah, I think just like the nature of how we're doing this, I think we should go back at some point and kind of more closely analyze the music since we kind of
Yeah.
can't play it too loud here. But yeah, I agree. I think so far I haven't. It seems pretty good.
So we're still in Arteria. So okay, we're gonna get our first elevator, and we are going to Cataris. So there we go.
If you notice, also you can see Samus's ship from Fusion at the top there. And we know that ship also appears in the cutscenes at the beginning of the game, but you can see it in the icon as well. So she does have it actively in the game, too.
There you go. You know what is something that I don't think anybody is going to care about this except for me, but I really do like when the maps, like, you can see where the areas connect. You know what I mean? Like Metroid Fusion, there is no way that like all those sectors connect in a natural way, but like in Super Metroid, like very clearly Wreck Ship connects to Criteria, Criteria connects to Brinstar, etc., etc. So I like that they show you like going from one area to the next, like this is where it actually connects together. I feel like nobody cares about that but me, but I appreciate it.
I was going to talk more about the awesome elevator cutscene that we get. I love that, but we got that last video too. I agree though. I mean, I didn't mind it in Fusion because you do get that interconnectivity a little bit as you kind of go in, behind the walls, so to speak. But yeah, it's obviously not to the extent of Super Metroid or maybe even this game. And it looks like we're gonna need a. So wait, so pausing real quick. This obviously means that the suit that Samus has now is like the power suit equivalent, right? Like she doesn't have the
Right.
Varia upgrades because she couldn't go into that hot area. So that's just making me think, okay, what happened to the fusion suit? And then what is her next suit gonna look like? Because I already love the look of this suit, but I'm very excited to see like what the other upgrade like suit like upgraded suit designs are. And I was wondering at the onset of this, like when I first saw this gameplay, if this was the Varia suit, quote unquote, but it's not. So looking forward to seeing what Mercury Steam comes up with.
Yeah. Let's press play.
Yeah, I'm gonna press play. 1044 plus and play again. Samus mid spin jump there.
So we know that we're gonna have, if not a full-blown suit, some kind of functionality added to the Dread suit that is similar to the Varia and similar to the Gravity. Mm-hmm. Oh, look at that! Oh, a nice little hidden wall there.
Yeah, and there's of course people have talked about it a ton on like the internet, on Twitter, where like Samus goes up against a wall and she like presses her hand up against it, and like her feet touch it like the ground, like, and have that IK kind of tracking to it. Really, really good attention to detail.
You know what? I'm just realizing that we haven't seen the Morph Ball yet. I don't believe.
We haven't. I don't think they. I'm not sure if they actually get that in this gameplay presentation at all. I think it only showed up in the trailer, but I don't remember. Guess we'll see. Ooh, look at this.
Another fantastic looking Atom Room. Just the glow of Samus just looks so good.
It looks like we are going to cut away from this again, but we do know, as we said last time, Adam has not only the text, but has voice acting as well. So voice acting confirmed for the game for everyone. As far as we know, in terms of like AI, but we don't know if the Chozo are gonna have voice acting. I would assume they probably will. Federation, humans and whatnot probably will. Samus, I don't think so, but we'll see.
I could see Samus having voice acting in the sense of like somebody providing like grunts and that kind of voice.
Oh yeah,
acting,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
exactly.
Like,
yeah, I don't think she's gonna be having a speaking role though.
I mean, never say never though, right? Because like Samus did have, she had a lot to say in Metroid Fusion. There are lots of different monologues and stuff, and I think that if they're going to, if they're going to give Adam a voice and they have the same kind of idea to use Samus in that role again, kind of monologuing, then Samus might have a voice as well. I'm not sure that they're going to necessarily do that, but
I don't know if they will.
I wouldn't say it's impossible.
Oh, definitely not. I just feel like most people obviously remember Other M for the monologuing, but even Fusion has it too. And I think, this game definitely looks like a more streamlined Metroid game, and like Samus standing there monologuing just doesn't seem like it's congruent with how like the design of this game so far.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know that just because she gets voice acting doesn't mean she's going to monologue. She could have short lines or very few lines. So who knows? But I mean, we'll see. I think I'm fine either way. And I'm trusting Mercury Steam. So far, I like what I'm seeing, so I'm trusting them.
Yep, no doubt. So Samus is in this like awesome looking. It looks like a factory of some sorts here, trying to navigate her way around. But now she's used her arm cannon to power up the lock on one door, but it's locked another. So we are doing some exploring, and I do like how the walls in this game that are able to be destroyed have like a little tell that lets you know that like they can be destroyed.
Yeah, true. Yeah, so you're not just like, I mean that like constantly searching and just like looking like pixel by pixel. I don't mind that at all. I really love the design of these rooms. I mean, even look at this room. Like, look at the attention to detail in that just machine all the way in the back, like the gear spinning, like and the smoke, like that has no implication on the gameplay whatsoever, but it just makes it way more convincing, way more immersive. The world feel like an actual world rather than just a static background. And you can like see that there's the implication of a lot more going on than what we see, like than what first meets the eye.
Yeah, look, it just looks so good. Looks so awesome. I mean, this background just looks incredible.
Yeah.
Man. Okay, so Samus is sliding into... Oh, man, look at that room. Let's pause right there really quick. Just really quick.
Sure, yeah. I'll go back to get to it. So we're pausing.
We won't spend too long here, but I just wanted to point out some things here. So Samus is sliding into a big room, and she's going to walk into a very... I don't know, an unusual looking room. So we've got a glass tunnel. So we got another glass tunnel. So that thing's getting bombed. But we've got this struck me for a second because it almost looked like Chozo armor or something like that in the bottom here. And maybe it's just an aesthetic, piece of the background, but maybe it's coming into play a little bit later. I don't know if that's armor or a statue. It looks like it's got some kind of hand moving it though.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, it seems like we're more in the actual facility of like this part of the planet. Like the previous section was more cavernous and rocky. Now we're clearly in a facility. I mean, it looks like they're building stuff in this facility. So I'm thinking that's like there's another arm in the background that's not holding anything. I'm assuming these are big like conveyor belt factory arms that are moving these big armor, like, I don't know, power suits that they're building, I would assume, from one place to another. Maybe they're dropping these in the lava for some reason. Like, I think it's interesting that this armor is probably Chozo armor, but it seems like it's more congruent with, like, older Chozo designs than, like, the newer, sleeker, like, thinner, taller Chozo design. But maybe I'm just kind of looking into it wrong or incorrectly, or just into it too much. But, a lot of the imagery I'm seeing in this game is like the newer Chozo trying to override like imagery of the old. And maybe like they're processing some of the old Chozo armor, getting rid of it, or they're using it to create new armor. Or they're building their new armor here. They're certainly building something in this facility, but it is interesting. Like, I mean, they're using this huge volcanic flow, obviously for energy and resources. And Samus is getting like deeper and she's going up out of the planet, but she's getting deeper into the critical parts of this facility for sure. And I would assume that's some kind of Chozo armor. Also, in the save stations, you see these Chozo statues that are essentially the exact same build as this armor. So I'm thinking it is likely something Chozo related.
Looks very, very cool either way. And just to go like ahead about a second or two here, Samus is also going to run past a door that has a like purple force field around it. And I'm not sure what item would break that off the top of my head. But it's very, very cool looking anyways. So yeah, this is a very interesting room.
And we're at 14:35. I'm going to hit play again.
All
she
right.
moves through. Yeah. So you can see that kind of electrical shell around it almost. Definitely a later pickup.
These guys are running right past some kind of secret in that wall. right there.
There's definitely a bunch of
There's
things that
definitely
they
something.
like walk by intentionally and don't mention, and just like they don't talk for a couple seconds, and then they keep talking as
Yeah.
if they didn't just ignore that. That happens
You
a
know
bunch
what?
of these.
And I appreciate that.
Oh
I
yeah,
want
they
to
gotta
find
do
out some
it.
stuff for myself. So here we go. We got an Emmy door.
Emmy
Business
time.
is about to pick up, as they say. Just the lights that kind of flicker dark, and then this creepy.
Oh.
So we got a yellow Emmy here, and
Yellow. That's green.
it's like
it's like a lime
it's like Mountain
green.
Dew.
It's like it's like a lime-ish yellow
Yeah.
green.
Okay. As I was saying that, and as you were saying that, I was like, well, this thing's kind of mellow yellow, but
Yeah, it's somewhere in the middle.
so we got the Mountain Dew Emmy has just disappeared, and Samus is obviously going to be using her Phantom Cloak to a large extent in order to avoid those. Now, I believe that those are the ones that move a little bit quicker. Is that correct?
So these are the ones that can fit in small crevices. So like the regular
see.
white Emmys can't, and then these I don't think are the fast ones, but they're the ones that can chase Samus into like I'm assuming like morph ball tunnels or places she can slide, and she has to use her Phantom Cloak when she's cornered to get away from them. And I love how you can see they start going off and patrolling. You can see them on the map. Like there's a little strategy because you can't just run off here. The thing's patrolling. You gotta wait. But also you can't use the Phantom Cloak for too long because if you use the ability for too long, it starts to sap your health, I believe. So there's the balance there of how long do I use the ability to hold this position versus the health I want to use to get away from where I am.
Very, very intense. Like I was kind of like holding my breath when Samus was activating the cloak and the Emmy was right in front. So Samus just activated some kind of trap.
And look at the background here, by the way, man. They're building a huge mecha of some sort, bro.
That looks like a giant Chozo to me. I don't know about you. Or
with an arm cannon. Armor. With an arm cannon. If you look on the right arm, it's a big arm cannon. So like they're like this. I would love it if Samus takes on like some huge like Shadow of the Colossus like Chozo boss. She has to like climb or something. Like look at the size of that thing. It's like 50 times her size.
Just got caught by the Emmy.
Yeah, just fooling around looking at this thing like we are.
Yeah, I'm glad that we don't have to play this at the same time as we're doing commentary. It's probably harder than it looks.
Oh, speak for yourself. I would love to be doing this. You kidding me? This would be a dream job
too.
to be showing this game off right now.
Oh god, that just makes my skin crawl. That like you can see the Aeon bar just slowly depleting as this thing is has its eyes on you literally and beams on you, waiting for you to move.
Yeah, and it also seems like it goes down quicker, like as it gets towards the end of the bar. So you start to run out of that Aeon like charge. Your Aeon bar goes down, and then once the Aeon bar goes away, then it starts sapping your health. So and it like rushes you to that. So you got to keep an eye on it.
Oh god. Oh man, these guys just got caught again. That was a pretty big, I don't know, sonar pulse or something like that the Emmy gave off to find Samus.
Yeah,
so obviously its range is bigger than just the eye laser, if you will, that it shoots out.
Yeah.
All right, so these guys gotta open this door. Oh god.
Quick time. Oh, she whiffs. And she's
man.
Dead. Ooh.
There we go. So Samus
GG.
just got impaled.
Literally.
Yikes.
Right in the collarbone.
Oh man.
Gotta be on point with that quick time event. You gotta be you have that one swing, and if you whiff it, you're done.
Yeah, no kidding. What an appropriate name Dread is. And like I think that all of us were excited for Metroid Dread, like just because that was the name of the fabled game that never happened, but like it really does fit the MO of this game and what it's trying to achieve. So I'm wondering if like they had this idea for the Emmys like way back when. Like I really do, because that would have fit the MO like to a T.
Well, yeah, I think Sakamoto pretty much says as much, but I think that's definitely the case. Is like I think that's why they started calling it Metroid Dread like way back then, because they always had this idea of these multiple enemies really chasing Samus, like we kind of hoped the SAX would in Fusion, and then maybe they just weren't able to implement all these different roaming enemies. I don't know, but I'm glad that it's come to fruition. They got another chance. And they fail again.
Oh, they failed again. Samus is a goner. So let's see if Samus starts from. So Samus got out of the Emmy zone, activated one of the thermal charges. Let's see if. Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna start from there.
Yeah, so it's pretty much the last time.
So
I
if
guess
you
you've
notice
done
too, it does
something.
look like there was a block that could have been destroyed there, and that there's room for Samus to go in with the morph ball.
Oh,
So
notice how I was gonna say, notice how when you leave the Emmy zone, it doesn't look like you can go right back in. There's like a big red like symbol that goes on it before I guess it loads up again. I don't know.
Oh, a nice little hidden area. These guys are ignoring it. That just
I think well they can't go there because it's too hot. You can see the heat coming out, so I think they're trying to
oh wow. So
avoid dying.
This just totally reminds me of the God, the name is escaping me, but the big yellow thing from Aliens that Ripley rides.
Oh, the what, the forklift or something?
It's like that.
What you
People
call
are
it,
dying
excavator?
listening to this because like I'm sure everyone knows the name but us. But yeah, the thing that she uses at the end. But so here we go. We're back in this big room and everything is activated. Tons of enemies here. Looks like so there's two walls that go up. Looks like they're too far apart to wall jump all the way up. Too bad.
I mean, as far as we know,
As
I
far
would
as we
not be
know.
surprised that someone could make it happen. That's a skip right there for speedrunners.
I'm really excited, by the way, to play this game. So like I was thinking like, man, when Metroid Dread comes out, like I could probably beat the thing in like a weekend, but then I'm gonna play it again on hard difficulty, and then I'm gonna play it again speed running, and then I'm gonna play it again like with a guide in mind, and like I'm just really excited to play this in all the different ways that you can play the Metroid games.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to be playing this game like over and over and over and over and over and over again. So I cannot wait for it to come out. It's soon enough, man. It's not too far off. Only a few months.
Yep, that is right. These Chozo statues just look awesome, by the way.
And this
Really,
is what I was
really great
talking about. The stave room. See how these Chozo in the back, pretty much a similar build as that armor that we saw earlier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they look very cool. Very cool save room too. Although I'm looking at the map and actually it doesn't explicitly say save room, which usually Metroid games do. So that's kind of a nice little like, I don't know, move away from the norm.
Yeah, or maybe they just haven't implemented that yet. But I think it should be explicit enough when the game releases.
Yeah,
Seems explicit enough right now, but
man, it's almost just like so. This slide is obviously going to be a big part of this game. I wonder if there is a reason that we haven't seen the morph ball yet. Because like I mean, typically that's like one of your first, if not your first, pickups that you typically get in a Metroid game.
that's
And
probably
I have to
why, because
imagine
they have
that
the slide.
that it comes back.
Yeah, no, it definitely does. You see it in the trailer, in the initial release. I just assume
you're
it's
right.
not like I assume it's not your first pickup
Right.
because you have the slide. Oh, look at that! We're already at the
Look
end.
at that
Wow.
statue. My God.
And what? So, Andy, you're looking at this statue, and this doesn't like ring any bells to you?
This statue definitely looks very creepy. It's got God, it almost looks like a mummy or something. It looks like it's definitely on four legs. I don't know. What do you see?
Okay, well, we're paused at 23:19 at this. What looks like, by the way, which looks like some kind of morph ball tunnel there, because you can't slide.
Definitely.
But that a lot of people are saying on Twitter that looks like the kind of like creature head doorway before you face Kraid in previous Metroid games. It has a resemblance to something that is you see in before you face Kraid, and which might have the
okay.
implication that Kraid's in this game to some extent. A meta Kraid, dude.
How awesome would that be? I mean, like you've got this giant factory. Why not? You could totally do it. Bring back Kraid.
Yeah, I mean, even in the previous room where Sam's running by, you could see like this long like factory lineup of like arms and stuff where like you could see they could like have a huge just conveyor belt and workflow of pumping out, like manufacturing a ton of these things too, whatever they're building. Like I love the scale that the backgrounds bring, and it's actually wild that we just all of a sudden got to the end of the video here, because like I'm eating all this up, and it's like when time flies when you're having fun, but there's so much when you see this gameplay. There's so much that's like getting me thinking, like what are they building? What are they doing here? And I was saying that at the end of the last video, the end of the last episode, but I think that even more having gone through here.
Yeah, so it looks like, I mean, this thing is definitely coming to life for sure. You know what? When you said what does it look like to you, my first thought was actually like a Sheegoth almost. It looks kind of like that. But it looks like you can jump on this thing and actually walk on it. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it doesn't come to life, but it sure looks like it does to me. So obviously there is something is about to go down in this room, because the Nintendo Treehouse guys said, "Yep, that's it. We're gonna stop here." So something is about to happen. It looks like this, like he pointed out, this would be a good place to get the Morph Ball, and yeah.
I'm thinking whatever you do, you likely, because this thing looks like it's just kind of a statue or something. It looks like you jump on top of it, walk across its back, head to the boss, and you can even see on the map there's an opening there, and then the small morph ball sized opening at the bottom, which likely is your exit from the boss battle after you've claimed the morph ball. So this is likely where you get it, which still you were talking about having it early in the game. Well, it's still relatively early. Not the first thing you get, but I think with the introduction of the slide, that makes sense. It occupies that role in a lot of ways, and then once the game starts to get a little more intricate and starts to introduce, these morph ball tunnels that aren't at ground level, so you can't slide through them, or they're too long, so you can't continuously slide through them. Unless maybe later in the game you get like a booster slide. That'd be sick.
Then that would be cool, like a Shine Spark but slide almost. That would be really cool.
Oh yeah, I mean, I was thinking just like a longer boost, but even a Shine Spark slide. I can't wait to see how you can kind of mix and match and like kind of work the different parts of Samus's suit and different features she gets and different Aeon abilities together. Can't wait.
Yeah,
all the different tools.
This looks. This just looks so good. Everything from the background that we've seen to the new items and abilities, and like obviously the Phantom Cloak is going to be a big. It's going to be a big item. It's going to probably be the big. I don't want to say gimmick, but like one of the big things about this game that you use, because it's one of the first items that you get, and obviously there's going to be a focus and importance on that. I wouldn't be surprised if you can like upgrade your Phantom Cloak throughout the course of the game. Obviously, I'm sure that you can upgrade your Aeon throughout the course of the game. So yeah, this looks really awesome so far, and it is striking how like this is probably the first like little area of the game. Like this is probably within the first like hour of this game that we've seen, and it feels like just we've seen so much already. We had that awesome boss battle. We're obviously about to throw down with something else to get the Morph Ball, so it just is shaping up to be everything that we want, everything that we were hoping for. And we've also been through a couple of those different Emmy zones as well, so I'm really looking forward to the ability to like build up Samus's arsenal to be able to fight back against those things.
Yeah, and I can't wait to see what the other Emmys are like. I mean, we know, we have this like lime green, yellow green Emmy. We have the other Emmy that's faster. But like, what about the other 3 or 4 or 5 Emmys we might run into? Like, what have they got, packing up their, I don't know, robotic, weird Emmy sleeve, I guess, right? Like, how strong are they going to be? And then there are the other enemies that we don't even know about, like the other creatures Samus going to run into the planet. Obviously, the Dark Chosen, whatever the Federation's working on. Like, there's a lot of other stuff, and I can't wait to see like what Samus takes on. And yeah, like it feels like we've just scratched the surface. Like they did a great job. Like thinking back to how like Samus Returns was kind of treated in like 2017, where like it didn't even show up in the main presentation. It was kind of overshadowed by Metroid Prime 4, which still isn't out, and it got a little time in the treehouse, but it never felt like a big deal. Metroid Dread, we get a whole announcement at E3 with a trailer. We have 40 minutes split into 2 parts in the treehouse of gameplay footage, completely new gameplay footage. We got a developer diary from Sakamoto himself, a special edition that's sold out. I mean, it's like a complete 180, and it's almost like, it's a dream come true for sure, but it's like, okay, like this is very promising. Like, it not only makes me excited, but it makes me feel hopeful that, like, okay, maybe they're actually gonna like try to do something with Metroid, and maybe they're feeling better about the franchise too, which may inspire them to do more with it. So I don't know. All of this it feels great as a fan.
Yeah, no kidding. And like one thing too that I feel like for me this game has helped. I know that before E3, when we were talking about our predictions and stuff like that, and talking about Metroid Prime 4, how it's been 4 years since we saw that one little splash that had the title and nothing more. I know that you and like I was too, and some other people were frustrated. It's like, give me something about this game, like something, anything like that. It's been a long time. It's been 4 years. So like, the title screen isn't enough for me anymore. And I feel like Dread really just kind of took the pressure off of that. Like,
Absolutely.
now if I don't see Metroid Prime 4 until next year, that's fine, because now I've got Metroid Dread to keep me occupied. I'm going to play this game like probably 50 times in the first month that it's out. It just makes it feel a lot better to me. And like, frankly, I feel like now that I have Metroid Dread, like it's kind of made me realize, like, I don't know if I'm not just more excited for this game than I am for whatever Metroid Prime 4 is going to be. And I'm sure that it's going to be great and continue, or maybe even start that new story with Silex or whatever. But, this is on a whole other level, where it's like we've been waiting for this for so long. It looks like we're finally going to get some of the mystery of the Chozo answered. We're going to see our first Chozo. We're gonna see what the Dread is all about. We're gonna find out what happened to the fusion suit. We're gonna see Adam in a not annoying role, so that's great. He's gonna have voice acting. So this is really the one that's like checking all the boxes. So not that I'm like not absolutely stoked about Metroid Prime 4. I am, but this definitely takes that pressure off of Retro Studios and our hunger, I guess, if you will, for Metroid.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, even with the development restart, I was still expecting to see something from Metroid Prime 4 this past E3. Like, even again, like maybe if it was just a small teaser, but I think Nintendo probably learned their lesson. I was like, okay, we're not going to show something until it's really, really ready. And so I get that, but I 100% agree. Like, Metroid Dread coming out, because it's like been everything and kind of more that we wanted, and because we wanted it for so long and we didn't even think it was going to happen, it definitely took all that weight off their shoulders. And like, no one's talking about like, oh, where's Metroid Prime 4? Now everyone's focused on Metroid Dread, and when Metroid Dread comes out, it'll be the holidays by then. People are enjoying it, and then that gives Nintendo, their spring Nintendo Direct, or E3 2022, to show off Metroid Prime 4 after everyone's been enjoying Metroid Dread for a while. So I'm thinking that could happen. We might even wait longer than that, and I think that might still be okay, though I do think we're going to see some Metroid Prime 4 next year for sure. And I think that's fine, and I agree. Like, for me, I'm excited for both games a lot. I'm excited for this game because of all the reasons we mentioned. I'm excited for Metroid Prime 4 because it's Metroid Prime 4 too. So like, I don't think it's really a competition for me. I'm so excited for both, and honestly, I'm looking even beyond that. I mean, this feels a lot like the 2000s again for Metroid, where we could have these two big releases in Metroid Dread and Metroid Prime 4 come out in the early part of the decade, and then that leads to a bunch of other great games, more Metroid Prime games, more 2D Metroids, more spin-offs and all that, and which we've been waiting for and wanting for so long. And I'm just getting good feelings about that. It feels very like similar to when Metroid Fusion and Metroid Prime came out, and then we had a lot of follow-ups from there for 6-7 years, really. 5-6 years after that, and I think I'm getting the same feeling from this. This feels like such a good start. There's a lot of goodwill. Metroid Dread is being talked about by a ton of people. A lot of people are excited. A lot of new people are getting into the games. Like, this is really like a perfect storm so far, all the planets aligning, and so that makes me even more excited, actually, for Metroid Prime 4, because I think even more people are going to be excited for that game, too, because Metroid Dread's going to be really setting them up for more Metroid, and people are so excited for this game. I can't imagine what the excitement's going to be for Metroid Prime 4, which I think is really going to be like a huge title, and this is just the beginning of a lot of a Metroid renaissance, I think, to be honest. So it makes me very excited. Even just watching this gameplay, I can't wait to run it. It looks like such a fun game to play, to try it for the first time, to explore, and to run so many times after that.
Yeah, and like, I think you took the words out of my mouth. It feels like it could be the beginning of another golden age for Metroid. I don't want to get too hopeful, but I mean,
I'm saying it will be. I'm saying it will be. You might.
I
won't,
love
but
that.
I say it will be. Yeah.
So we've got Dread, we've got Prime 4. and we know that those are coming. But like I feel like with everything going on, I think that it's safe to say that Dread is probably going to be the most successful Metroid game in terms of how many people buy and play this game. I feel like it's got the momentum. I feel like I feel like it's going to do that. I feel like that's going to be the game.
Yeah,
I feel like
I agree.
I feel like the Metroid Fusion remake, I think it's going to happen. Way back when, I know that Mercury Steam is developing another game now. I forget which game it is, but they said that they were developing something else. Their next game was blah, blah, blah. So I know that they're developing something else, but keep in mind, too, that Mercury Steam had way back when, I want to say in like 2015 or 14 or something like that, they had pitched Nintendo on a Metroid Fusion remake. So they've got at least some ideas and some kind of a prototype for it. So, maybe I do think that we're going to get that. Maybe it's not Mercury Steam that does it, but I think that the time is right to do the Metroid Fusion remake. So we've got a lot to look forward to in the next couple of years here, hopefully. So yeah, I feel like really excited by all the footage that we've seen. Everything looks like it's going in the right direction. Nintendo obviously learned their lesson from 2017, and nobody was talking about Samus Returns in 2017, but it just feels like everybody is talking about Metroid Dread in 2021. It's all over Amazon. It's all over Best Buy. It feels like you could be right. This could be another good age for Metroid. And of course, we still got Prime Trilogy that is definitely going to be coming out sometime, some way, somehow. It's going to come out. So we've also got that to look forward to as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Samus Returns, I don't remember it ever topping pre-order charts, anything like this. I don't remember ever having the buzz like this. So I have people who are like, oh, it's just going to be another Samus Returns, blah, blah, blah. I think they're just kind of being, they are being a bit disingenuous there. But, honestly, I think this will be the best selling Metroid game until Metroid Prime 4 comes out, probably. I definitely think this game will sell at least 3 million copies. I think the 3 to 5 million range is likely what it'll hit, and I think that would be absolutely phenomenal. It would be huge for Metroid. It would be its best-selling game of all time, and it would put it at still one of the Switch's best-selling games if it were to hit 3 to 5 million. And then honestly, I think Metroid Prime 4 is one of those games that could hit 10 million if we're being really honest here. So I think this bodes really well for Metroid coming up. Honestly, I think they might be looking past remakes. I really think that while I think a Metroid Fusion remake would be great and better than a Super one, first, and then getting maybe Super later, they're definitely crafting this game as an entry point for people, so they don't have to play a remake or go back and play the old games. They can just gonna jump in. And I think Metroid Prime 4 will be the same way too. So I'm anticipating them focusing more on new games and maybe not remakes in the future. And honestly, now I don't even think I need a Metroid Fusion remake. Just put it on the Switch. I can play it as is. I still think the game is fine. And Metroid Dread is really going to be a game that's available on the Switch I can also play, and I don't need to go back for a remake. Though I do think the remakes will happen eventually. I don't think they need to happen anytime soon, and I think they are going to focus on new games, and especially Sakamoto has even said that they're looking forward to games in the timeline beyond Metroid Dread. So I don't know if they're necessarily looking backwards towards remakes, and I'm happy for that. I'm sick of remakes, so I'm looking forward to new games. Whether they're main games, we're getting main games now, some more main games, some new spin-offs, that'd be great. Give me all the Metroid games. I'm totally about it.
Yeah. I mean, remakes, new games, side games, whatever. I'll take it all. Give me them all. You'd love to see it.
Well, not all of them.
We've still got the Sakamoto Diaries to get to. We've got some Dread reports to get to. But I think that maybe what we should do next week is take some fan questions or fan theories, whatever you want, questions about the game, questions about maybe what you think is going to happen in the story. You could pitch your ideas to us. Give us those questions, and we will answer them on the show. Of course, you can give those questions to us over on Twitter at Omega Metroid Pod, or you can join our Discord server and let us know over there. There's a ton of Metroid fans over in our Discord, so it's a great time to to ask questions and to hang out with with some Metroid geeks and talk some Metroid. So there you go. Really quick before we get out of here, I want to shout out two of our buddies here, three of our buddies actually. First, Metroid 35 is extended the deadline for the Metroid zine to July 10th. So you guys have a couple more weeks left to get into that. July 10th is the deadline to submit your artwork or whatever it is that you want for the zine. Also, Metroid 35 and our buddies over at World 1-1 Podcast have started another Metroid podcast called the Phazon Labs, which is basically a short little podcast that pitches ideas for Metroid games. And both Dak and I were guests on this show, so I think that's coming out in the next couple weeks. So make sure that you check that out. And lastly, our buddy Doominal Crossing worked really hard. He put together a reaction video to all the Metroid Dread news. So make sure that you go and check that out. He worked hard on it. And, I didn't record myself, Dak, but I know that you did. But I feel like a fool that I didn't record myself.
Yeah, I was so glad I had. It was actually funny. I had a meeting that started at, I think, that day at like 11:45. I was like, okay, we get this meeting done like really quickly, and then I can go and stream, or I think it was like 11:30 maybe, and I can go and stream this. And then like just before the direct started, like my boss like pushed the meeting back to exactly when the direct like began, and I was like, no.
Oh my.
And I messaged him. I was like, hey man, like you moved on top of the Nintendo Direct, sad face. And he was like, oh, don't worry about it, we'll just cancel it. And I'm like, yeah. so I was able to stream it. So shouts to my man Evan, great guy. And anyway, so
that's great.
so I was able to stream it. I'm very happy about that. I was included in the compilation, so it was a great comp. Thank you, Duminal, for putting that together and including me as well. And yeah, we've amazing reactions out there. I was happy to be able to stream it. I've been doing some YouTube content and try to stream as well. I did 2 Metroid Fusion runs in the past week or so on my Twitch channel, DaxCity_. So I've been trying to play some more Metroid Fusion. I'm trying to learn Metroid Fusion speedrunning to try to get, I guess, I don't know, in it, like, I guess more practice for when I pick up Metroid Dread and maybe give that a try. So who knows? But yeah, a lot of fun lately, and I can't wait for Dread, and I can't wait for some more news, and I can't wait for us to jump into our future episodes. We talk about more Metroid Dread.
Absolutely. All right, so next week is going to be fan questions, so make sure that you hit us up over on Discord, over on Twitter, at Omega Metroid Pod, at Spiteri316, and at DaxCity_. That is it for this week. We are going to get out of here. Of course, like I said, we got more Metroid Dread content than you can shake a stick at coming up in the next few weeks. So keep it locked over onto the show here, and we'll have you covered on the road to October into Metroid Dread. But yeah, we're gonna get out of here. Of course, we want you to check us out over on Podbean, iTunes, Spotify, Apple Podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. You know the drill. Like and subscribe. Recommend us to that Metroid fan in your life, or maybe recommend us to someone that saw the Dread trailer and was like, "Hey, I want to check this series out." Lots of great stuff in our backlog. So make sure that if you have someone in your life that is thinking about getting into Metroid, tell them to come on over to Omega Metroid, and we can maybe point them in the right direction and engage them in some topics. So there. We are out of here. We will see you guys next week. And until then, everybody, take care.